Dopo numerosi singoli e remix, finalmente nel 1991 arriva il primo album di Frankie Knuckles. Si intitola Beyond the Mix, che contiene i successi Workout, Rainfalls e The Whistle Song, forse la canzone più famosa di Frankie Knuckles. L'album raggiunge le vette delle classifiche dance internazionali e viene anche particolarmente apprezzato dalla critica.
Just look around, the angels are there to help your journey. Just believe it. You know that with God, nothing's impossible. You know, even if you cannot see it, just believe it. You know that with God, nothing's impossible.
How did I feel about the first album? The production process was really exciting, but it was also frustrating. But doing my own album at the time, it was frustrating as well as being exciting because I knew exactly where I wanted to go with it and what I wanted to do. But then the record label fought me tooth and nail about it. As long as I'm giving my crowd exactly what they want, that's the only thing that matters. That's what every musician or every recording artist does, is that they make the music that they believe in and that's a part of them and an extension of themselves. And the label's job is to market it and put it out there and make it available to the public. But during that particular period, because I was the first DJ given a recording contract and a production deal, it's like they were watching me and they were on me 24 hours a day, and no matter how many songs I wrote for this particular album, the first time around I think I wrote something like about 20 or 30 tracks, and only 2 or 3 made it out of that 30. So I had to go back, start all over again, write more music. And I think completely the process, I might have maybe 75 songs. And out of 75 songs, the 10 best ones made it on the album.
Frankie continua il suo lavoro di remixer nella metà degli anni 90 con brani di Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Diana Ross, Tony Braxton e poi nel 1997 è il primo DJ a vincere il Grammy Award nella categoria Miglior Remixer dell'anno. È il giusto coronamento per una carriera straordinaria.
Winning that Grammy the first time, it's like time stood still for like one brief second, but it just seemed like it was forever. when they called my name out and then I had to go on stage to get it. It was one of those classic things that you see in a movie where the depth of field all of a sudden just goes, you know what I mean? And you're just walking really, really slow to get up there. And I just lost all train of thought. I couldn't believe it actually happened. And I was so nervous leading up, like 2-3 weeks leading up to the Grammys. I hardly ate anything. I made myself sick a few times, you know, and then came the night of it. It's like it was over just that quick. You know, and it's one of those moments that you really want to last a long time. In the United States, the industry changed. Overnight, it just changed. You know, I know it changed for me because they looked at me and I was doing so much post-production and remix work up until that point that once that happened, the industry pretty much looked at me and said, well, his rates just went through the roof, and then all of a sudden, business dried up. And when business dried up, it just really began to turn around. You know, there were no more big budget projects, things like that, you know, and DJs began, you know, buying the equipment to build their own studios in their bedrooms, and that changed the shape of everything. I always describe it as the music going from being three-dimensional, like so much music that came out in the 70s and the 80s, to being two-dimensional. Because now it's being done in these guys' bedrooms, and it only sounds two-dimensional. It doesn't sound as big as it did.
Stasera direi che è andata benissimo, è andata. Il clima, vabbè, è fantastico, anche perché quando si viene a Napoli veramente i napoletani sono fantastici, hanno un calore splendido e soprattutto sono dei grandi intenditori di musica. Qualsiasi cosa suoni, loro ballano e alzano le mani. E c'è un calore proprio fantastico proprio che viene da loro, un'energia incredibile, è impossibile non divertirsi e non stare bene. Frankie era emozionato anche perché era un po' che mancava dalla scena napoletana, sì, quindi assolutamente era emozionato e ha suonato, ti dirò, anche un programma diverso dal solito che mi è piaciuto veramente tanto, quindi secondo me si è anche proprio preparato per questa serata proprio anche musicalmente.
Just believe it, 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 just believe it. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah,
Belle sensazioni, bella musica, bella gente, ottima l'organizzazione, mi sono divertita come non mai.
In verità mi aspettavo più gente, la calca, sai, addosso e si sudava, invece per quanto riguarda la musica, Frankie Knuckles
È un mito.
What would I suggest to a guy that wants to get into the business now? I would say educate yourself about music, you know, but not just what you like, you know, all aspects of it. You know, if you want to play house music, that's fine. You want to play, you know, techno, that's fine too. But you really need to know about music, and you need to listen to it back and forth constantly, over and over and over again. And not just the music that you like. I mean, you should be listening to classical and jazz and soul, and I mean, you have to listen to all of it. You don't have to like it all, but you have to listen to it all. So you have a much clearer understanding of how music is put together and why it works the way it does. I remember I used to tell Larry, when we were kids, you know, what are you going to do after all this? It was a question I used to always ask him. What are you going to do after all this? And he was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, you know, we can't play records our whole life. And, you know, at the time, I think we might have been about 17. And I used to tell him, listen, I don't want to wake up one day and be 32 years old and still playing records. It just does not make sense. You know, I'm 55 years old now. The joke was on me, right? So.
Long life, Frankie Knuckles. Thank you very much.
Termina qui questa puntata di DJ Stories dedicata a Frankie Knuckles. Ci vediamo la prossima settimana su DJ TV.